Hello boaters, welcome to Narrowboat Journeys. Today's trip on the South Oxford Canal starts near King Sutton. I'll go through King Sutton Lock and then head southwards to Nell Bridge. Now this otherwise very short trip turned out to be quite interesting. If you look to the left, you can just about see through that hedge that the fields on the left of the canal are flooded, and this is the River Cherwell has burst its banks and is flooding across the river. Now I realise that may cause me problems further on, but I don't know how bad the flooding is at this point. So I decide to carry on and see how it goes. Turns out that it was actually quite bad, as we shall see in a moment. So here we are at King Sutton Lock, quite a pretty lock really, quite a deep lock as well. Some of my viewers may be getting a bit bored with seeing my boat going down through locks all the time, so I'll speed this bit up. And there was a hire boat come up behind me, and so the chaps from that gave me a bit of a hand going through the lock, which made things go a bit smoother. Now down below the lock, I'm not sure what the fall of this lock is, but it's probably about 10 or 11 feet. It's quite deep. Of course, now I'm down on a lower level, the floodwater is becoming more relevant, as you shall see. Okay, it's fairly clear to me that the river water is flowing into the canal, because you can tell by the colour of the water. It's got that chocolatey brown sort of colour to it. At this time of year, like end of March, there's very little traffic moving on the canal, so the water should be more or less clear. So we're getting flood water coming in. I can't see it yet. Okay, here we go. On the left there you can see the water is starting to flow through the hedge, over the towpath and into the canal. Okay, here we go. Look, this is where it starts to get a bit more interesting. There's a lot more water coming in. Doesn't affect the handling of the boat really. And so we're past that little bit, and then I took my handheld camera. So here's a clip of the same piece of flooding taken with the other camera. Over the next couple of days, this area of flooding got a lot worse. If you want to have a look at that, you can see some of my previous videos where I covered it quite extensively, really. One thing to be very careful of when the river floods into the canal like that is because the levels of the water raise up considerably, this also reduces your headroom under lift bridges, and because there's a flow of water in the canal, it funnels through very quickly through that narrow gap. I was worried that I wouldn't get under this bridge, so I did a bit of an emergency stop and then ease the boat through gradually. I think the boat itself would have gone under okay, but I did have quite a lot of stuff on the roof which could have easily have caught on that lift bridge as I went under. Luckily it was alright, we managed to get through okay without losing anything, but it could have been a lot worse. You never know, and it's very hard to judge the heights and distances of things when you're boating along, so it's best to be safe than sorry. almost at the end of the trip now. I thought I might moor up here, but then I changed my mind and decided to go on just a little bit further because there was slightly less mud. This is where I decided to moor up in the end, and because the floodwaters continued to rise, I got stuck here for over a week. Again, all of that is covered in some of my other videos, so have a look through and see if you can find them. Thank you for watching. My trips will continue in further videos, I'm sure, so I shall see you next time.